Hello, everyone. When we last left our heroes, they had escaped the mines of Moria after looting it dry. We are now in the area environs around Lorien. The screen is a bit darker. This is normal. I don't really understand why it was done this way, but for whatever reason, this particular map is much darker palette-wise. We didn't really suffer all that much in Moria, you know. I think they really do expect you to have the Gandalf sacrifice thing. But we can clobber some Urukai. Ha. This is one of the more bullshitty elements of the game, but it is necessary for them to have the plot. You know, it is weird. The Fellowship of the Ring, you know, and if you've read the books, ends on Amon Hen with the party splitting up and not a whole lot of resolution. I suspect that they invented this subplot of well, we'll see what happens. But I suspect they ended it so that they could have like an end quest to have a definitive marking point of, you know, this game is over in a way that the books don't really support all that well. Yeah, that would be bad. Dol Guldur is Sauron's second biggest fortress, and yeah, if the Ring Bearer went there, well, Sauron could probably be in Dol Guldur in a day or two, week at the most, and then we all lose. But let's dawdle and do side quests instead. This is I don't remember actually the lore behind Mirror. But I mean, I know it's important in the books. Gimli makes a big deal of turning aside for Frodo to see it. Can't do that in this game, but I do not remember what was something about like the first waters that Durin beheld or something like that. That sounds important. If only we had something that would contain fluids, like say a bottle. It's not quite the File of Galadriel, but you know, it'll do at a pinch. We go to this standing stone. I just want to check something real fast. 232. The dwarves among you forget the recent misfortunes that have befallen the Fellowship and get very excited by the sight of the stone. This pillar marks the place where Durin first looked into the mirror. Let us look ourselves ere we go. Well, we did that kind of backwards. Durin must have had pretty sharp eyes. We can't see the mirror from here. Going to Mirror gives our dwarves, I believe it's supposed to be a strength boost, and I could have sworn that one game long ago when I took Kiri with us, he got a strength, but as you can see, Gimli only got a point of will, not of strength, which I'm fine with, but I would have liked the strength a bit more. Okay. And Gondor lore has waned quite a bit, it seems. Hint, hint. But we don't really get, again, because they've changed the whole bit at Amon Hen, we don't really get Boromir's treachery or corruption. You know, there's actually a point in the books that because of the danger to Lorien, they don't have bridges. They cross on ropes thrown from tree to tree. But, you know, here we have bridges because they couldn't do that, I guess. Darrow, a commanding elven voice, calls out to the Fellowship. Stand still. Do not move or speak. Out of the shadows a ladder descends from the trees. In these dark times, the elven commander says, we require a password. Okay, let's try Thranduil. We've got his son with us. Nope. What about Círdan, Lord of the Havens? Nope. How about Fingolfin? Oh no, Finrod. Gildor was with Finrod or Finarfin or one of those. I should spell it right. Oh, fine. We'll try Elrond. So anyone can get in as long as they name drop the right names. Here. We actually can recruit Haldir later, but he's kind of bad, so... somewhere around here we can find the Elf Stone. In fact, Aragorn's name in Sindarin is literally Elf Stone, so it's kind of important to him. So we'll give it to Boromir instead. Get a bit of rapport between the two. There are elves around. Again, Mikal Benis is excellent, and I do want to stress that it is an excellent site. Does talk about how the elves talk about their existence is this kind of unending drudgery. And that is definitely a theme in the books, that, you know, the elves are fading and can't endure life on Middle-earth anymore and are eventually going to go to Valinor. On the other hand, Lorien is an attempt to kind of recreate Valinor in Middle-earth using the power of the Elven Rings. That's why I think time flows funny. It's very much being inside the Elvish song, as Sam says. I would have thought the elves have agriculture, although offhand I can't think of anything in the books that points to them farming. There are several, we now have 2 slots open in the Fellowship with Frodo and Sam disappearing. Celebrith is another guy we can recruit, but I think we have to talk to Galadriel first. In fact, let's go do that. I always get lost in Lorien, so I'm going to probably wander around a bit. A bit unnecessarily. But here's Galadriel's flet. We can tell because it's got a different color ladder up. I believe they say something a bit different if Gandalf isn't with you, but, welcome to Caras Galadon. I sympathize with your sadness. I saw the ring bearer taken by the Black Captain at the gates of Moria and taken to Dol Guldur. 10 feet away from your power. Glad to see you helped. Still, well, we should look at the mirror, I guess. And she's volunteered her soldiers for us. We've actually already found 2 of these 5 objects, but we should pick up the other 3, and we will get a bonus. It's one of the quests of the area. We also... Galadriel gets a custom picture. Again, this bit ties into the whole thing that with the rings themselves draw to a degree on Sauron's power. Destroying the ring and defeating Sauron does, in the books, depower the Elven Rings, and without that, they can't really maintain Lorien. So even victory is somewhat of a defeat as far as the elves are concerned. We can also talk to Celeborn. Doriath was a realm in Beleriand in the first stage. Yeah, you're a great help. Oh boy, that is the wrong answer for a guy to give. We should recruit him into the party before his wife has words with him. In all seriousness, though, Celeborn has some awesome stats. We'll equip his sword. He's got a key and 5 hits of Lembus. I'll give 2 to Legolas. Oh, did I? I don't think I went through his skills or his magic. No magic. Quite a few skills. He doesn't have swords, actually. Okay, we should. Not that it's that big of a deal. We also can recruit some of Galadriel's soldiers, as I mentioned, but to be honest, they're kind of terrible. I'll paragraph 188. On this piece of grass a young elf maid sits. She is not frightened of you, but your presence has not changed her melancholy demeanor. I sit in shadows, she says, and think of the great shadow to come. Lorien is doomed, the shadow has won. Oh, cheery. Really? By who? But we were going to go at least try to press gang an elf or two. So now that we've talked to Galadriel, Celebrith should be willing to join us. But if we look at his... Oh, he's all the way on top. No skills, no magic. He has a bow, and his stats are not great. So I'm not even... I mean, yeah, it will be one person light, but I'm just going to go with the 9 of us for now. There's 2 other people we can pick up around here, Haldir and Malkir. Their stats aren't exactly the same, but they're a similar mold. Have a bow, no skills, no magic, around the same base stats. So this is the mirror. We do not see quite the same stuff that they saw in the books, but of course they want us to go to Dol Guldur and want to give us a few hints about what it's there. Yeah, seriously, if this had happened in the books, Sauron would have won instantly. But of course they have to come up with a ridiculous reason to stop you from losing instantly. Again, he wouldn't even need to be escorted to Mordor. Sauron, unlike in the movies, can move around. He almost certainly would have gone to Dol Guldur to claim his precious. It's not that far from Dol Guldur to... But here we go. There is like one treasure there, but I suppose we should get it. We can get another key, but Celeborn's got one, so we don't really need it. And we can see the door here. Paragraph 210. This huge doorway has a swan-shaped keyhole about which the word Finarfin is written in Elvish script. We cannot open it with things like devices or pick lock. And yeah, it's right, unlock won't work. But the Galadriel key will. Oh, right, I forgot to, just use illuminate. I don't know what dragon lived anywhere near Moria. Moria too, but anywhere near Lorien. Well, she did say it was a place of great peril. We actually. Great. No perception use there. Or brimstone smell. Here we run into 6 Urukai, which is not a particular challenge. Where's Celeborn? I guess he wound up off screen. That's okay, we don't really need him. Not just for 6 Urukai. It is somewhat concerning that, well, I suppose the door was sealed, and it's not like the orcs have we beat a Balrog. I'm sure we can beat a dragon if it comes to that. Wonder where it is. Oh, it's an illusion. But, oh well. Still, a dead dragon is like... I would have thought somebody would have mentioned in the books if there was a dragon that had lived near Lorien. But we can take these wings. And now... Fortunately, why swim if we can fly? Okay, sure, we'll give him the wings. I'm sure we won't need it to get back or anything. Okay. Besides, the game wouldn't let us trap ourselves like that, would it? But seriously, we got flown back and we got a word of power, which we will find a use for later. We actually can go back to Moria through this area. If you remember this is the 6th deep. And if we head this way, this is where we climb down to get Mithril and fight the Balrog. But that's not where we're going today. So let's head back. Lorien, like Rivendell, is a place where there's quite a bit of healing and skills we can pick up. No, I think... Which way is it? No, we want to go west from the entrance. Oh, stop it with the brimstone smell already. You again. It wasn't that scary the first time either. We could beat the Witch King. Whoops, that's the door again. So, let us start systematically getting power-ups. chair, you see a young and beautiful elf maid singing softly and holding the crown of Eleanor in her hand. Takes a look at. Oh, that's bad. Elves are pretty monogamous, and I don't see any indication that Legolas is interested in her. But the Eleanor crown is one of the 5 items that Galadriel wanted, so now we're up to 3. Seriously, what do you see in Legolas? I mean, other than the fact that he's a prince and an awesome warrior and is friends with a dwarf. I don't know. I don't really have much. Elf rests on the hills, quickly rises to his feet when you approach. I'm called Bragol here, he says. His gaze fixes on Legolas. Look of arrival. I hear the elves of Mirkwood are swift. I'm just going to turn down. If we accept the race, I'll just use Gandalf as a thing. Right now our dex is 79. If we accept, they have a grueling race around the hill. Nessa is one of the Vala. I'm trying to remember what she's associated with. But having run the foot race, everyone gets +2 dex, which is quite nice. Let's continue onward. Oh, yes, there is... In fact, I'm just trying to get my bearings. Yeah, go up the rope. Any beautiful bows? Yeah, let's take a bow. Legolas does get a better bow when they go through Lorien, but his is, in the books anyway, it's a gift from Galadriel. Maybe he can keep up with Gimli now in the damage department. And if we go kind of south, Belicam will want to wrestle with either Aragorn or Boromir, but I think they need to be a leader for him to notice. So Boromir's got the higher strength, I think. Yeah, Boromir's a 32 strength, not that it really matters. A strong elf sees you and approaches you. In Valinor, Tulkas, strong as the Valar, taught me that wrestling hardens the fighting spirit. Will your leader engage me in a match that we both may learn from it? Yeah, let's go for it. In hard match, once you force your opponent to the ground, hold his shoulders there. He's impressed. That gives everyone +1 strength, which, as far as I know, aside from the thing with the stone near Mirror, it's the only strength boost in the game. I also suspect, again, that he'll challenge you to a match if either Aragorn or Boromir are leading the company. I suspect that they expected you to, have Gandalf sacrifice himself against the Balrog like he does in the books. And then, Aragorn would probably be the natural leader. No, I don't really want an empty ale bottle, but I thought you can get food here. Modest too. Yeah, so we can get some food. I'll have Gandalf grab something to eat. But I don't think we really need to. We'll take some hot food. Leave the ale though. paragraph 44. You hear the sound of a hammer repeatedly striking against a forge. Eventually, an elf with broad shoulders looks at you with a toothy grin. I am Curdle, pupil of the great Celebrimbor. Is there anything I can help you with? Celebrimbor was the elf who made the elven rings and a bunch of other stuff. Okay. I believe something somewhere was supposed to indicate that Smith's ring was broken. Despite his main game purpose is that if we trade him Smith's ring to get the hotspot activated again, if we trade him Smith's ring, he will fix it up for us. It's only a lesser ring, Curdle. But now we have the Reforge ring, which, at least according to the clue book that came with the game, is supposed to increase your defense a bit. So... that, I think, is a hint that, you know, Smith... Too bad we can't trade Curdle some mithril and get some mithril armor out of him. That would be cool. Here's the flat I'm looking for. I think, anyway. Don't seem to be able to get in here. Let me, again, double check that I'm in the right place. No, I'm not, actually. Okay, let me reorient. So here's the kind of big L-shaped thing. I love it when somebody says, see paragraph number 191. But here's the text. The elf lifts himself painfully and begins his tale. A few weeks ago, I had strange dreams of a glowing bird trapped in a cage of ice. Everywhere around it was ice. It was obvious the bird was trapped and needed my help. He groans and then continues. The dreams did not stop, so I sought the guidance of Galadriel. She brought me to her mirrors. We saw a secret passageway in the eastern part of Redhorn Pass. We saw a huge monster made of ice, with the bird from my dreams imprisoned in ice. The ice monster seemed to draw strength from the bird, which was used to increase the power of the winters in the mountains. I immediately asked Galadriel to give me permission to battle this monster, but she refused, saying that no elf of Lorien was destined to prevail against it. The dreams did not come again, but I still could not forget this, so I left alone for the Redhorn. There I was attacked by orcs and injured, and so came back to Lorien. If the orcs of the Misty Mountains have sealed Redhorn Pass, then both Rivendell and Lorien are in peril. If the spirit of Caradhras, as Galadriel has named the monster, grows stronger, then eventually it will bring the cold of Morgoth upon us all. It must be defeated. Redhorn Pass must be freed. Another quest that we can do. And we will be heading back that way. So let's get to it. A handsome, tall young elf sleeps upon the ground. As you approach, he awakens and smiles. Members of the quest, I had the oddest dream. In it, I saw the east grow dark until blackness was absolute, and blackness spread until it overwhelmed Lorien. All seemed lost, but suddenly a light came from the west and told me that you would come soon. It gave me a riddle to tell you. Converse with me further, and I shall tell it. I had been stuck on this thing. This was one of the reasons I'm doing this. Is this was the first computer game I ever played. I didn't even really play it at first. My dad was playing it, and I was kind of watching over his shoulder and occasionally getting in the way. This riddle had us stumped. I fell in love with the game and kept replaying it, and it took me literally years. I don't think I guessed the right answer until I was like 20 or so. I was too Lord of the Ringed up. I kept saying things like Melkor or Ungoliant or darkness or shadow or evil, temptation, addiction. What he wants is despair. And he gives a mild hint about Gollum, really. And that is it. They give you a paragraph to introduce it. They give you... It was one of the biggest letdowns. But I suppose I can't blame them. Okay. By the way, you can enter in... It's like Rivendell. If you enter in... Oh, not this... I guess it's only the Western Gate that heals you. But we are not ready to leave just yet, and there is more to do. Well, if it's Barmer's, I suppose we should give it to him. Besides, he's been collecting the other Galadriel stuff. That's 4 out of 5 items. We are now outside of Karis Galadhon proper, but there is more to do in kind of the immediate environs of Lorien. The swamp does have something useful, but it's kind of a pain to get, and the Thoronder Word of Power is just as good. Let's try to go for it. It's just really annoying to go through the swamp. A lot of basically invisible walls. Come on. Fuck it. If I can get out anyway. I thought there was supposed to be... here we go. You have come to the site of a recent battlefield. Many orcs lie dead, but the elves who fought here were all slain, save one. The orcs have an encampment swamp. The elf is clearly dying from many wounds. Nothing can save his life. They must be killed before they can set up a camp. Unless you do so now, the quest might never cross thee. With that, the elf gives his last breath. I'm never entirely sure what... Sometimes you get a huge force of first orcs, then Uruk-hai, then trolls. As you can see here, we only have one. I think it has to do with the spawning flags. But now looks like we're only getting one of each. So we are not getting an epic battle. It's supposed to be a long, arduous fight. Oh, whoops, I meant to kill the troll. Whatever. There's only one. So we defeated the orc. Yeah, great victory. We killed 3 orcs and a troll. But again, more are supposed to spawn, and doing this will give 2 endurance and life to everyone in the Fellowship. So it's one of the few fights in the game that's actually worth doing. Continuing around the kind of north end of... I should actually get moving. The north end of Lorien, we get stuck in the trees. Yeah, there was dwarven friendship between both Ostenedal's End and Lorien's End before the Balrog woke up. Perception finds us a horn of silver, which I believe we now have. Let's see, we've got the Elfstone, we got the crown, we got the... Yeah, so I believe we've gotten all of Galadriel's fetch quest items. Oh no, an orc or two. That was hard. I've mentioned this before, but there actually are once you get like a major fellowship together, there aren't too many fights that are dangerous. Occasionally there can be some, attritional problems, just from getting worn down, but it's pretty rare that, especially if you can run back to heal anyway, that there's too many things that could seriously threaten you. Here's the bridge. Yeah, we've heard this before. Keep. Do we have to use... Oh no, you have to do it in a specific spot in the ruins. I've never figured out what this amulet does. If anybody has an idea, I would be interested in hearing it. It does say it's extreme value, but this is the other end of Redhorn Gate. I mentioned when we were at Rivendell that it's impassable. The same trigger works on both ends. If we keep going, we will eventually get onto Rivendell's map, and we get this block. But on this side of the snowdrift, we can find a cave entrance. And if we climb up, we come into here. Well, it looks like Gollum must have been here. I believe Malak is supposed to be like malachite, in which case malachite is stone, it's not a metal. Get your material science right, game. Whoops. Unfortunately, yeah, that, because going up goes both the stairs up and then back down, you can get stuck sometimes. Paragraph 184. Not since the days of Angband has the world known such cold. Ages ago, an evil spirit entered the misty mountains and begrudged all creatures who traveled on his slopes, for it viewed the mountains as its own personal property. And as the ages passed, the spirit of Caradhras grew colder and colder, and it begrudged all warmth and plotted to destroy it. And so the spirit Caradhras captured some of the warmth of spring in the form of a bird and imprisoned it in a cage of ice. Since then, the mountains have been subject to the unchallenged will of Caradhras, and its malice has grown as great as its might. This cave is the dwelling place of cruel Caradhras, spirit of the Red Horn. Imprisoned in a pack of ice is the bird of spring. The great coldness seems shocked that anyone would dare challenge it. Fool, it hisses like blowing snow rolling upon ice. Do you challenge the power of the winter chill? It howls like a blizzard. First you climb my slopes, and now you invade my home. Die, the voice growls like breaking ice. I don't normally use combat magic, but it just seems Fire Finger is appropriate here. Caradhras isn't that tough, but he is pretty fast and he's got a sword. Maybe the defensive stance wasn't the smartest idea, but oh well. We could get a sword, but whatever. The spirit is broken. It rises up like a blizzard, then melts into a pool of black water. A west wind rises and blows its fragments into nothingness. I do like the west wind bit, actually. That's how both Sauron's spirit is dispersed and Saruman's when they quote-unquote die. So that's a nice little touch there. But Caradhras is now defeated, but his works are not in an end. A brown bird remains imprisoned in a sheath of ice. Their Firefinger or using a torch will free the bird, but also, and again, I did not know this until I saw it in the in Mikhail Benis's site. But if you use the ice staff, you can also free the bird. Doing that gives us some more. I have 2 more endurance, so we now have another stat boost. Also of import is you can, it destroys the ice block, so we can now actually, if we want to, go all the way back. Hell, we can go all the way back to the Shire if we want. And I am going to go to Rivendell both to heal and to showcase a few things. There are some caves in the Misty Mountains, but there's no real point in visiting any of them unless you like random fights with orcs. So we're just going to head back to... before we defeat Caradhras and free the spring bird thing, there are a bunch of triggers that do damage. I don't like crows. Maybe sneak or hide will help. Does Mary know hide? Nah, no good. Oh well. And here we are, back near Rivendell. Because we need to hurry to save the ring bearer and the world. Hey, Elrond, just wanted to pop in and say that we lost the ring bearer. You suck. We suck, rather. Okay, no, he gives... One other thing that's neat is, again, I did not know this before finding it out on Mikhail Benis' site. If you come back from Lorien, you can recruit Eladon and Elrohir. They're actually quite good. But they won't join you before getting past Moria at the very least. And they have some, decent equipment. Interesting enough, if you dismiss them somewhere else, that doesn't affect the trigger about them teaching you skills. I want to give Celeborn sword skills, since he actually apparently doesn't have it, and he does fight with a sword. And unlike the people we plan on transferring over, there's no real loss. I just had a whim, and since nobody watching this video can stop me, I'm going to indulge it. We are heading back to Bree. I want to show off something that I skipped earlier. Onward. Good, we got in before nightfall. I had skipped over it, but there's this long and ultimately pointless quest where the letter that, again, this is in the books, the letter that Gandalf gave to Barlaman in this game gets torn in two, and this local brigand chief has, who for some reason lives in the Hobbit Hole, has the other half. If we come back after going to Rivendell, yeah, we didn't actually meet him before, but he is not happy with Saruman's intrusion, and is willing to join us. He also doesn't like rangers, so if you try to talk to him with Aragorn in the party, he won't want to speak to you. And there's a long series of conversation paths, like get the password to his little criminal gang, but he has no skills, no magic, no items, and his stats are not great. But he does have the other half of Gandalf's message, and he wants you to get him something called the Torque of Maladin before he'll give it to you. Now, the Torque of Maladin is made up, but it is in Bree, and we can go get it here. It's kind of in the south. Now, there is a trigger that if you have either the Ring Bearer or Aragorn in the party, let me find this stupid area. Here we go. So we have to climb down here. We'll probably have to use Illuminate again. Jump over some pits. And here is the chest. Now the chest will open the 7 stars and 7 stones and 1 white tree is the symbol of Elendil's house. So it will open if Aragorn is in the party, or if the Ring Bearer is with you. As far as I know, this is the only way to arrange it so that the Ring Bearer is not with you when you get here. And it's kind of a strange contingency that they plan for it, especially since it's pretty useless at this point. But a counter magic can open the box and give us the golden torque. I thought I'd just include that for a little bit of weirdness. But let's get out of here. And where did we leave Aragorn? No. Well, it's hard to tell. You guys all look alike. I do not understand why Aragorn, who is easily the most important human character in Lord of the Rings, gets a generic portrait. It's, I don't know, minor crime against Tolkien, right? But with that pointless digression over, I think we are ready to hand in the items to Galadriel and actually go off and save our hobbits. And don't worry, we'll be doing more of that in the 2 towers, so better get some practice in now. March along the roads. Stupid crows. By the way, if anyone who ever watches this video has some idea why Lorien is so much darker than the rest of the game palette, please tell me. I would very much like to know. It's kind of jarring, to be honest. I think we need to go south, actually. Yep. So we are heading back to Galadriel to hand in our trinkets. I believe we actually... Oh. Whoops. I believe we actually already get the reward, but it feels wrong not to go up into the hallway. And we have now gotten Pippin's luck all the way up to 100. These are as good as the stats get. But we have a boat to catch, so let's head to it. I think I went the wrong way. Yep, here we go. This is the only, absolutely point of no return point in the game. We cross the river, we do not cross back. Everything else you can eventually make your way back, even if you can't go immediately. Nice little swan boat, too. But, let's... Yeah, I mean, the bad guys have taken the ring bearer. Oh, I don't know, Melian married an elf, so you know how wise... Nah, I'm kidding. But she gives us 2 words of power. She has some good advice. Unfortunately, the game will kick us out immediately before we have a chance to pick up the waybread. So, but here we are in the final environ near Dol Guldur and Roscobo. I'm going to save and end this video, and when we do the next one, that will be it for this game. We will complete it. Hope you've enjoyed, and have a good day.